Hi, everyone. Welcome to our One World Energy Encounter with the Zohar. This week's portion is Tetzaveh. It's volume 12 in our edition. And we want to start off by inviting in the Kabbalistic lineage of the Rav and Karen and Michael, Rav Shlal, Rav Brandwein, the Riyah Kodesh, Ramchal, Rabbi Tarfon, Rav Mezulai, Rav Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, Rav Kolon, Mishapir Pia Setzon, the Baal Shem Tov, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, and all the students, Rav Mordechai of Chernobyl, when Sol Yosef at Tzadik and Shechem. As we connect to these verses, we have the opportunity to connect to the energy of healing. So let's send out blessings and energy of healing to everyone we know who needs healing. Minda Bat Chaya, Moshe Ben Chana, Albert Ben Imelda Bat Carmen, Baruch Ben Rina Zahava, Shaindel Devorah Bat Chaya, Chana, Sandy Bat Neti, Levi Ben Bluma, Sar Bat Yudit, Sar Bat Malka, Yitzchak Ben Rivka, Melissa Bat Margie, Chana Bat Rivka, Yehudi Masa Navon Bat Aviva, Ganesa Barachadina, Sir Peril Bat Dita Reza, Roxana Bat Loretta, Carol Bat Susan, Aviva Bat Naina. Let's also send out energy of Ahavat Chinam, treating everyone in the world with human decency, unconditional love, ending the wars in the world, the safe release of the remaining hostages being held by Hamas, protection for all those innocents in harm's way, protection from evil eye and evil speech, and removing negativity and chaos from our world. Okay, this article said that in the wilderness where you've seen, today also happens to be the anniversary of elevation, the Hilula of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses, the greatest prophet to ever walk the face of the earth. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, author of the Zohar, we are taught is the reincarnation of Moses. Moses appears in every generation. We just don't always merit to know who that is at the time. So connecting to the Zohar is connecting to the soul of Moses also. So it's definitely apropos on a day like today to do things to make that connection with a soul who's closest to the physical world on the anniversary of their soul's elevation. So it's a great time to think about the things the healing that we're looking for in the world and the things that we're looking for in our lives. The energy of protection we need, the blessings that we're looking for, the fulfillment we're looking for. It's a great opportunity to do that. So let's also have that in mind when we read this. Okay, verse 82. Patachahu Saba ve'amar uvamidbar asher ra'ita asher nasa'acha Hashem Elokecha kasher yisa ish et beno v'gomer hai krahachi miba'ele uvamidbar asher nasa'acha mahu ra'ita el kuchabrichu davar lon liYisrael b'madbara madbara takifa kama dichtiv nachash saraf ve'akrav v'gomer umadbara di'u takif mishar madverin be'alma my Tama.
The old sage opened the discussion saying,
okay,
and
so
in the wilderness.
Before we get there, so, if you go back, it looks like that Rabbi Shimon and students encountered this old sage, and they asked this old sage to share with them some words of Torah. What that means is they were opening themselves up to receive knowledge to help themselves, help the world. I mean, this is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Doesn't he know everything? So again, it's kind of a reminder that not only don't we know everything, we know anything. Like, the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. It's the paradox. And we always want to stay in that place, because to say that we know closes us to vital insights for ourselves and the world. So again, when we have an opening here, it says he opened, meaning he opened the conversation at one level, but then on the 99% level, on the spiritual level, we're creating an opening into the upper realm. And we always want to be conscious of that. Okay, keep going. What did he open with?
In the wilderness where you have seen how that Hashem, your Elohim, bore you as a man bears his son.
Okay, so it's a verse about reminding us that the Creator bore us in much the way a father bears a son, or a parent bears a child. Anyone see the analogy there working? Does that make sense? So what it's directing our attention to is the idea that we are mankind's relationship with the Creator is a father and son relationship. And we get into this actually around Rosh Hashanah time, because this actually comes up specifically in the prayers that we say leading up to Rosh Hashanah and actually on Rosh Hashanah. And it's the idea of what is our role vis-a-vis the Creator? Is it God, master of the universe, to subjects? You could look at it that way. Is it master to slave? You could look at it that way. Is it parent to child? So all those roles exist, but we always want to look at it from the parent-child perspective. And the way that I've heard our teachers explain it is like, when you're in the business, you don't punch the clock. Master servant, you're an employee. You punch the clock. You work your hours. And you're done. You go home. You're not thinking about the job. That's someone else's responsibility. It's not yours. You go home. You're done for the day. When you are in a father-son relationship, when it's a family business, no one is ever not thinking about the business. You're in the business. So that's the father-son relationship, and that's our role vis-a-vis the world and our relationship with the Creator. We're working on creation. Are we? Yes. It's clearly imperfect. Our role is to work on perfecting it. How do we do that? By working on what we would say our Dalet Amos, what comes within our little orbit, what's on our radar, what shows up in our life. That's what we're working on. We're working on perfecting our soul. And when you're perfecting your soul, you're working aligned with the creative energies, with the Creator. So that's what it means. And what he did was, the Creator, it wasn't just that we were doing work. It's not as simple as like Father, Son, Creator to us. It was the nation. So we went from just a collective, into the children of Israel, literally. And so, and that's why he sprung us out of Egypt and took us to Mount Sinai to change the world, because we became the instruments, the channels for perfecting the world. That's our role. And that's why it's bearing us, because we ascended to that role. He shaped us into that role. Anyone have any reflections on that? All right, let's continue.
This passage should have said, and in the wilderness where he bore you. Why does it say where you have seen?
Yeah, like that's extraneous. There's not a single extra letter, let alone thought, in the Torah. So if we see something that looks like it doesn't fit, it's not necessary, then it's trying to tell us something else. The Zohar is pointing that out. Again, important, but even in our lives, when things are happening, you got to ask yourself a question: Why is this why is this in my movie? Why is this happening? And there's nothing that's happening that's just random. There's nothing that's happening in your life that's extraneous. It's all relating to your journey, your soul's journey. So yes, it happened on that verse. Yes, it's a reference to what happened in the desert when the children of Israel were traveling through the desert, but it's also relevant to our lives right now. It's like, I need to look again. It's like nothing's happening to me. Everything's happening for me. Okay, let's continue.
The Holy One, blessed be he, spoke to Yisrael in the wilderness, a potent wilderness, as it is written, venomous serpents and scorpions. This wilderness is more potent than any wilderness in the world. What is the reason that he led Yisrael there?
So we have two questions. One is, why does it say where you have seen? And why did he take us into that part of the desert? And it seems like taking us in that part of the desert is the answer they're giving. But that doesn't make any, what does that even mean? What is going on? Now, it's not clear. So we need to be okay with that because, again, relevant to our lives, we don't always see why things are happening either. And we need to be okay with that. And we need to have certainty that it's all happening for our best. And the analogy here is like, we went into the most dangerous part of the desert. Why did the Creator take us there? Let's continue. 83. Begin to haushata denafku Yisrael miMitzrayim vishtelimu l'shitin rib van ittakaf malchuta kadisha the istalak al kola the sihara it nihirat uchten it kafya malchu chayava sitra achara the apiklon kuchabrichu lemehach b'madbarat takifa the iu atar b'shultanu de samach Chayavat yu delay mamash. The gim latavra tukpe v'chele ulachatavta reshe ulachpeya le dela yishlot vilmale dechavu Yisrael ba'kutrabrichu la'abra le mal me'alma v'yalda abarlon v'achasante v'avde v'chulake mamash.
He answers, when the children of Israel left Egypt and reached the number of 600,000, the Holy Malchut.
Yes, okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
The Holy Malchut was strengthened and rose above everything and the moon.
Okay,
this
so,
is Malchut.
So wait a second. Yeah, that's Malchut. I'm sorry. I keep reading. Just read it to that period.
Shown,
right. Okay, so what we're seeing is in giving the answer, it's a deeper understanding of what exactly happened when we left Egypt. Now, of course, this is relevant because Passover is like 6 weeks away. So we might as well start preparing now, essentially. What happened? When the children of Israel reached the number 600,000, they hit a critical mass that tipped the balance of power in the universe. What was the tip of balance of power? Our physical realm was strengthened. How? Because you had 600,000 channels bringing the light of the Creator into our world. And the moon shone. What does that mean? Well, the sun to the moon is what the Creator, as Zeron Pin is, to Malchut. And we became those channels. That's our responsibility, to shine, be a light unto the nations, to shine the light of the upper realm into our world, to illuminate the moon. The moon's our world. This happened. This really happened. That's what we're connecting to. Our role in illuminating the world. So right now, if we're reading about our role illuminating the world, then we're in that role of illuminating the world as we speak. That's the energy we're connecting to. We're connecting to the energy of illuminating our world. Really, what are we doing exactly? We're talking about the importance of seeing beyond the physical realm and understanding this isn't real. All that light is coming from the upper realm. What illuminates our world is the upper realm. Not your job, not your friendships, not all you're doing. Yes, we have to do stuff. We're not so much manifesting as we are opening the channels of manifestation. Well, how do you open the channels of manifestation? Through your consciousness. It's all consciousness. So we want to be present to this reality of us being channels of the light of the Creator into our world. And Zohar study and the other tools that we have are what enable us to be those channels today. But that 600,000 is hitting critical mass. So that's what happened. That's what we achieved. Then something went terribly wrong. Let's continue.
Then the evil Malchut, the other side, was subdued, and the Holy One, blessed be He, took Yisrael into the powerful wilderness, which is the place and the domain of evil Samal. his
So, okay,
very
by the way,
own.
so that I'm glad you mispronounced that word. We pronounce it as S. We don't actually even say that name. You didn't. We pronounce it as S. So, go ahead, his very own.
His very own, in order to break his power and strength, crush his head and subdue him, so he will have no power. If the
Okay, so
children of
what? Okay, so what
Israel,
happened? We achieved this ability to channel the light of the Creator into the world. So the Creator took us into the desert, into the most dangerous place, which was the world of the evil side, to crush the negativity, to remove the negativity forever. That's why at Mount Sinai, we achieved immortality. We had crushed the other side. It was the end of death. Bilam Avalenetzach. Death was swallowed up forever, and pain and suffering ended in the world. That's why he took us into the most dangerous place. That's why it says, where you have seen. We were witness to it. We were there. And then what happened? Good.
so you have no power. If the children of Israel had not sinned, the Holy One, blessed be he, planned to remove him from the world. Therefore, he caused Israel to actually pass through his inheritance, lot, and portion.
The inheritance, lot, and portion of the Sitra Achra, of the Samech, of the snake, of the evil side. That's what it was about. Removing the illusion of death, removing death from the world, removing pain and suffering from the world. That's why he took us there. Because we were these tremendous channels of light, and we were going to crush the other side and remove it forever. But we sinned. And that's what would happen had we not sinned. What was the sin?
Golden calf, wasn't it?
Golden calf, yeah. Was that so bad? We built a golden calf. Is that a reason to end everything? Sounds
Well,
sounds a little harsh. It wasn't. The golden calf is just the symbol for what happened. It's just that's what we refer to. What happened was we lost certainty in the light of the Creator.
right.
That's what happened. We lost such a. When else do what is a loss of certain? So the reason why this is so important is because this week is Purim,
Right.
and so it's a reminder. And we're going to read the parsha of Zachor, the portion of Zachor, which discusses Amalek attacking us the first week out of Egypt. I mean, what a bunch of scoundrels! We're just being redeemed from slavery, and they attack us when we're weakest. Why'd they do that? And how did the Creator allow that to happen?
Well, I mean, it all comes back to the piece about doubt, which is really the
Doubt.
cornerstone of Perm, right?
Yes.
Is to instill doubt, because as you have more doubt, then you have less certainty.
That's right. So this whole understanding this and connecting this, another huge opportunity for us in this study and this week and Purim is to strengthen our certainty in the light of the Creator and in our ability and role in channeling that light into the world. The children of
Mm.
Israel became uncertain. That lowered their defenses and made them vulnerable to the negativity. That's what happened. That's how Amalek was able to attack. And so Purim for us is this ability to connect to certainty. What do we have to do to strengthen our joy? And by the way, if you're certain, you're joyful because everything's great. So again, the whole month is an opportunity to connect to joy, unconditional joy.
But you connect through that by becoming more conscious of all the things and places you have doubt.
It's the consciousness. It's not the actions. The
Yeah.
actions help to strengthen the consciousness, but it's the consciousness. And that's the opportunity we have this whole month. That's the opportunity we have in this week's Torah reading tomorrow, especially with the reading of Zachor, which reminds us, Zachor means remember, but what do you mean remember? It's like, again, it's consciousness. It gets presented as like, there's a tribe of people that are really bad, like almost like a tribal thing. It's not about the tribe. It's about our certainty. That's what it's about. So reading this and connecting this way is an opportunity to strengthen our certainty. And the stronger our certainty is, the more we connect to the light of the Creator and the more we can channel to the world. That's what this opportunity is about, strengthening our certainty. In what? In this
That
dynamic.
all is good.
Well, that all is good, that everything's happening for our best, and that through our consciousness, we change the world. We change the world merely with our consciousness. We have to do things, of course, also. You want to show up for Purim. You want to hear the reading of the Megillah. You want to be giving charity. You want to be, there's other things that we do. It's a limited amount, but there are things that we do on the holiday Purim this Thursday night, Friday, to connect to that tremendous opportunity of positive energy and blessings from the upper realm. It's a huge window in time for us to connect. And it goes right into Shabbat. So it's like from one holy place right into the next. So again, that's the opportunity. That's what we're connecting to. Let's continue. 84. Kevan dechavu bechama zimnin nashich lon chivya uchodein itkayam hu yeshuvcha rosh v'gomer. Yisrael machu reshe bekadmeta v'la yadei liistamra mine ulebatar iyu macha bevat raita. V'naflu kulu b'madbara v'tkayam v'ata teshufenu akev. V'arba'in shinin laku mine lekavel mem malkut devei dina.
Since they sinned many times, the snake bit them and then was fulfilled. He will bruise your head.
Okay, so that's a verse from Breshit. He will bruise your head. So it's like, what does it mean we sin many times? The snake bit us. When we lose consciousness, when we go off the path, we're more vulnerable to snake bites. Metaphorically, not a snake bite. It's the Yetzer Hara. It's the Sitra Achra. It's the other side. We're more vulnerable to chaos and negativity. We don't walk the path because we're told to walk the path. We are told to walk the path, but we're not walking it solely because we're told to walk the path. We're walking the path to make our lives and the world around us a better place, to receive for the sake of sharing, to connect to the energy of blessings. You got to be on the path. You have to be aligned with the light of the Creator in order to manifest, to open the gates of manifestation. That's what we're doing. When we don't, that explains the chaos that comes into our lives. It's happening for us. It's happening to assist us in doing our work and in maintaining our journey. Even though it doesn't feel that way at the moment because we get reactive about it. And we're not looking at it. We're not really present to what's going on. So here's the opportunity to strengthen our consciousness of trying to stay on the path. Let's continue.
That is, the children of Yisrael hid his head first, but did not know how to guard themselves from him. Afterward, the snake bit them, and they all fell in the wilderness, and you shall bruise his heel was fulfilled. For 40 years were they smitten by him, corresponding to the 40 lashes decreed by court of law.
So we were in the desert for 40 years. We were supposed to go right into Israel. We're supposed to leave Egypt, pick up the great revelation of spiritual insights at Mount Sinai, and then go right into the land of Israel. And all those channels are opened up to the world. However, we fell. You're gonna fail. I mean, listen, we do fall. We still fall. But that was a big fall. And so we lost that connection. And so this goes to the whole idea of like, how do I maintain my connection to the light? How do I stay in that flow? I need to be aligned with the light. Well, how do I align myself with the light? Well, by rising above my ego, by rising above my desire to receive the self, which Satan will encourage. because it's body consciousness, it's physicality. That's the realm of Satan. This isn't about being in the desert or not. It's like the desert is disconnection from the light.
So is it the self or the self alone? Because my understanding is that it's totally fine to receive for the desire for self, but it's when it is self alone that's the issue. And the blessing comes when it's for self and we're doing it from a place of sharing at the same time. That's where the combination comes, right?
We don't want to break it down into two different steps. It's receiving for the sake of sharing. The more I receive for the sake of sharing, the more I can actually receive for the sake of sharing. When I receive for the self alone, I'm limited. One is a cup with a bottom and one is a channel. We want to be in the realm of channel. We're not keeping it anyhow. We're channeling it. You can't keep it. It's physicality anyhow. It's these blessings. The only blessings that are sustainable are the ones that we receive for the sake of sharing. That is sustainability in all ways. As opposed to, I'm going to receive and then I'm going to share. Okay, good, but not as good as receiving for the sake of sharing. Like, I need my business to do well, so I'm secure financially, so I can continue to do charitable works. So I'm receiving for the sake of sharing. I'm receiving in the context of a business, so I can continue to do charitable works. As opposed to I'm going to receive and then I'm going to decide what kind of charity I'm going to share. I'm gonna, but I'm just going to. Yeah, I mean, I want my sharing as part of the seed level of what I'm doing, not as an afterthought. Like I want alignment in the whole process, not just part of it. I want alignment with the light of the creator. It's not easy to do. It requires thinking about it. Like, what are the things that I want in my life? Well, I would love a soulmate in my life. Okay. It's receiving for the sake of sharing. Like, I want a soulmate not because I'm going to feel good. I want a soulmate so we can share stuff with the world, with each other in the world. That's different. Completely different. Any questions about that? All right, let's continue. So anyhow, so one of the Bet Din, the religious court, it's when they used to sit. There are still Bet Dins, but one of the punishments they would give out was 40 lashes. So what the Zohar is telling us is that why would they give out 40 lashes? Those 40 years were about assisting the children of Israel in growing in their certainty, which they eventually did. And so then they merited going into the land of Israel, still working on perfecting the world, still working on getting back to the point we were before the sin of the golden calf. We're still doing that work. Let's read another verse. 85. Ve'alta kativ asher ra'ita be'enayu havo chaman lahu mare b'mad bara azil kafit kamayu v'natle achasante ve'adve minalan dichtiv az nivhalu alufei odom v'ilein inu nachash saraf va'akra ve'anan Ufachi it parashna miyishuva lemadura takifa ul'aina tamam ba'oraita begin achpia lahu sitra.
Therefore it is written, where you have seen, because they saw with their own eyes the landlord of the wilderness walking, bound before them, and they took his possession in Lot.
So there we were in the desert. We see there's the snake. There's the other side, bound up, walking towards the end of the other side. That's why it says we have seen. We were present to the fact that was going on. Go ahead.
Whence do we know this? From the verse, then the chiefs of Edom shall be amazed, who are the venomous serpents and scorpions.
Okay, so confirmation of this comes from the book of Shemot, which is a reference to the chiefs of Edom. Who is Edom? Edom are the descendants of Esav. Edom means red. That was a tribe. And so that verse from Shemot is a reference to, again, that those venomous serpents and scorpions, which is a reference to the other side. Go ahead.
We too retired from civilization to go into the potent wilderness to be occupied there with the Torah in order to subdue that side.
And so that's the answer. We went to that most dangerous place in the desert because that's where negativity resides. So in our own lives, when we experience challenges, it's assisting us in growing in the same way to remove negativity from our lives. All the challenges that we encounter are there to cleanse us, to remove the blockages that remain between our physical selves and our souls. There are blockages there. There are blemishes there. There's negativity there. The challenges are there to assist us in removing negativity. So whenever you're experiencing a challenge that feels like it's too much to bear, of course, ask the light for help. But we have to remind ourselves, this is cleansing. Yeah, I know, but it's painful. I understand it's painful. That's what the cleansing is about. We can do it on our own, or we can go through a cleansing process. We can go through a cleansing process in this world, in this lifetime, or we can do it when our soul leaves the physical world. You'd rather do it now. We'd rather do it now, proactively. If not, we'll be in the circumstances that will assist us. And so another major takeaway for us in this reading is like, I'd rather do it now. Please, Creator, help me to do the work in the most efficient and painless way possible. Help me to see what the blockages are and what I need to remove, where I need to get out of my comfort zone, where I need to be showing up with more human decency for people, where I need to be sharing. Help me see all the things that I should be doing. And when we think of sharing, you might think of like, writing a check or, helping someone, helping an elderly person across the street. I mean, you can think of all kinds of things. This is me doing something, helping someone else. But it's also like my consciousness. It's also like giving everyone the benefit of the doubt until you learn otherwise. It's also like I'm not judging people. I'm taking energy. I have evil eye, I'm taking energy. If I want protection from judgment, if I want protection from the evil eye, I need to show up without those things. And those are normal. It's human nature. No biggie. But it does create chaos. It invites chaos into our lives. So to that degree, it kind of is a biggie. It's kind of something we want to have consciousness about. Okay, let's read on. Verse 86. V'tu dela mit yashvan milei d'oraita ela taman, deleit nahora ela hahun denafik migoy chashocha, dechad itkavya sitrada, istala kuchabrichu laela, vit yakar bikare, v'leit pulchana de kuchabrichu, ela migo chashocha, v'leit tuva ela migo bisha, v'chad al barnash ba'orach bisha, v'shavikle, Kedain istala kuchabrichu bikare. Biada shalimu decholoto vera kachada. Ul istalka levatar betov. The late tov elahahu denafak migoy bisha. Uvhai tov istala kikare. V'dayu pulchana shalim.
The words of the Torah became clear only there, and the only light is that which comes out of the darkness.
Okay, so that's the other thing we have to remind ourselves. It's hard to see the light. When you're in the darkness, you see the light. We need that contrast. Go ahead.
When this side is subdued, the Holy One, blessed be He, rises and His glory becomes greater. There is no service of the Holy One, blessed be He, except from out of the darkness, and no good except from out of evil.
Okay, so again, it's like this darkness. What is darkness? It's the absence of light. And I experience that when I am in darkness, when my consciousness falls and is in darkness. I experience that lack of light. I need to go there sometimes. I need to go into the desert. I need to be with the scorpions and snakes sometimes because I want to crush the head of the snake. That's their realm. And it's sometimes I need to go into that realm to remove that negativity, to go through that cleansing process. So like the chaos that again, it's a reminder of the chaos that we experience is our opportunity to remove that darkness, to remove that negativity, to remove those blockages. Let's continue.
When a person enters the evil way and then leaves it, the Holy One, blessed be He, rises in His glory.
That's what happens. When we are in a negative place, our ability to rise above that is channeling light of the Creator. That's what restriction is about. Working on ourselves, going to those negative places, getting out of our comfort zone. It's that friction. Friction, that's what friction does. In the physical realm, friction releases light, releases energy. Same thing with the work that we do. We're in opposition. We're going up against, we're staying in our comfort zone. We got to get out of our comfort zone. Go ahead.
Therefore, overall perfection is good and evil together and rising to the good afterward. The only good is good that emerges from evil, and through this good, the glory of the Holy One, best blessed be He, is elevated. This is perfect service.
What does it mean? The only good is good that emerges from evil. I reveal greater light through my growth, through my coming. So, like, don't beat up on yourself when you make a mistake or you find yourself in negativity. Don't beat up yourself. You're there for a purpose. You're there you're doing your soul's work. And when you rise, it's about we're gonna fall. It's not about falling, it's about rising out of that falling, both as individuals, both as communities, both as the world. That's what we're doing in the world. We're trying to connect to that higher consciousness. That's what reveals the light. Okay, finish. You can finish that up, that line.
Yeah.
Did we get the whole thing?
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is perfect service. So again, I had this conversation with a student this week a newer student was like, I'm connecting, I find myself falling. I'm trying to stay with a positive consciousness. You are connecting to you can be imperfect and still be connecting to your perfected self. We are physical beings. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. From the perspective of our physical experience, we're imperfect. Notwithstanding, we have a perfected self. And so we're using our imperfect selves to connect to our perfect self so that we can reveal greater light in the world and elevate our souls and remove the blockages and just cleanse so we can manifest that best version of ourselves. That's what it is. If you're here, you're imperfect. That's the paradox of this is perfect service. That's the work that we're doing. Okay, we're out of time. Thanks, Alex, for reading. Love you
Yeah.
all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.